My name's Jake with the Perfect Auto Collection, and today we're going to be going over this 2018 7 Series behind me, but it's not just a normal 7 Series, it is an Alpina B7. Starting under the hood, we have a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. It is a hot V design. BMW is the first manufacturer to actually develop and use the hot V setup, which is where the turbos are located right here in the middle of the V. That helps prevent turbo lag and better performance. It derives from racing, so it's a pretty neat little thing that BMW's added just to show their motorsports heritage. On top of that, since it is a Alpina, it is tuned by them. This car makes around 600 horsepower. Which is about 200 more than the normal 750 would. And you get your Alpina badges there and there. At the front of the car here, you'll know a few things. This front lip here, which is Alpina specific, and it has Alpina branded on there. Right above that, you will see your active cruise, your AAC sensor. That is for all of the self-driving features and capabilities that it has for highway driving. Right above here, you will see your camera for 360 cameras, and you'll notice on this car that all the grills are enclosed, and the reason for that is when the vehicle is actually cold, they will stay shut, and then as it warms up the temperature, they will open. When they're closed, you get better aerodynamics, which improves your gas mileage, which is actually a pretty cool feature. And then if we move over here, right there is your night vision camera. Actually, this car is optional with the night vision camera for seeing at night, seeing pedestrians, animals, stuff like that. Here we have the BMW LED adaptive headlights. These headlights will go up, down, side to side, follow the road. As you're turning the steering wheel, it's a really amazing feature to have on a vehicle. They come in handy, they're bright, they're just good headlights. Next, we're going to go over the wheel area here on the Alpina B7. As you notice, it has these 21-inch multi-spoke wheels. These are Alpina specific with the Alpina badge in the middle there. In my opinion, this is one of the best looking wheels that you can get on a BMW thus far. They are a beautiful, classy wheel. Behind that, you will notice a 4-piston fixed caliper there in Alpina blue, which is a nice touch that it's in blue, but besides that fact, it's a massive caliper that will definitely help stop this car. Again, this is a performance car. It's a very luxurious performance car, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's the best of both worlds. Now we're going to go over the rear of the vehicle. See, there's quite a bit of actually proprietary B7 stuff back here. So if we look, we have obviously the Alpina badging on both sides, Alpina B7. We have the quad tip exhausts, which are only found on the Alpina. They are not on any of the other 7 Series, as well as this little spoiler here. This little guy right here cannot be found on any other cars from the factory. This is specific to Alpina. Next, we'll look at the trunk. It is power open and power close, with a pretty big trunk in there. Fit a lot of stuff in there. Other little fun things is the manual here. It comes in the Alpina company colors, blue and green. You also get the nice Alpina crest on all of the carpeted mats. And with a push of a button, close it right back up. Working our way into the interior of the vehicle, there's plenty of luxurious options and again, Alpina specific vehicle options on this car. So let me walk you through some of that. First, we have the Alpina badging here, the little plaque that just says that it is indefinitely an Alpina, where it was built. Little known fact about Alpina is they were their own manufacturer up until this year. They have their own VINs, like this car has its own separate VIN from BMW. It is technically a Alpina built car. It is no longer a BMW. BMW just gives them the chassis and then they build the rest of the car, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And here we have the digital gauges. These are also in Alpina blue and green. Obviously you don't see the green right now and you're probably asking where that is. Well, if you hit the sport button, there's the green that comes up on there for all the gauges. And then if you go into eco mode, there's your eco mode settings. So no matter what mode you're in, you have a different display, which I think is really cool and really neat, especially that they kept the colors. Then on the steering wheel, you also have the Alpina crest there, as well as the green and blue stitching around the steering wheel here. Also specific to Alpina are the paddle shifters that they use. Now a lot of people don't like these or don't understand what they're there for, and Alpina was one of the first manufacturers to develop paddle shifters, and these were the first design setup that they used. It's just a heritage thing to homage to saying, hey, you know, we were the first company to mass produce this or use this, and they just stuck with that design just to show where they came from. I know a lot of people, if you go to Alpina, you can option them without these heritage paddles, as they would be, I guess, known as, or the Alpina paddle shifters, but most people actually keep them, and they're really nice once you get used to them. I'm not really sure why a lot of people hate them. They don't get in the way. It still lets the steering wheel have a nice classy look. It's, you know, it's an executive car. So now moving on to some of the things on the door, and I'll talk about the trim here as well because it's lighter out. The trim is actually Alpina specific piano black trim. It can only be optioned on an Alpina. It has the crest on the inside. I just can't show it because it's too dark in here. You'll also notice you have the executive package, so you have these ceramic control buttons, which are why all the buttons are that gray color. Instead of the plastic that you would normally find, you get these nice metallic buttons that are in here. So those controls, and you have L2, which controls the passenger seat with the driver's seat adjustment. This is for if somebody's tall getting in the back seat. You can just simply adjust the seat up quick for them so they can fit back there and they don't have to do it. Next is your set 1 and 2. Those are just your seat memory. You have 2 memories for the driver's seat. And the last one there in the end, that is your massage. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory. It gives you a massage. There is, I think, like 10 different massage settings, different styles of massages, and then you have 3 intensity levels on the button. Next, we have the Bowers & Wilkins Diamond Surround System. This is an expensive option. It's around $6,000. It's one of the best speaker systems I've ever heard, personally, in all the cars that I've been in. And it lights up, as you can tell there, so at night when you have all the ambient lighting on everything, it just adds to that effect. The speakers are very punchy, they're very clear, they're just an all-around amazing sound system, and they have that nice aluminum billet cover over them. Next, we'll go over a few buttons on here. So obviously these are that's your headlights adjustment. These are your parking lights, which are a new thing for the G chassis cars. What that is basically if you park on the side of the road, you can turn one of those on, and that'll turn your running light on just the side that's on the road. So anybody driving at night doesn't smack into your car because they don't see it because you have all the lights off and you're at, you know, someone's house or something. On this side, we have your fog lights, and then this button right here is your night vision control. Climate deck. You have a partial touchscreen and partial hard buttons, which I think is the best way to go about it. It gives it a modern touch, but it's not just all a huge giant screen like the newer cars are. So everything that's controlled on the digital screen is your fan speed, your heated and ventilated seats for both passenger and driver, and then your temperature is adjusted as well through that. All your hard buttons are your AC control buttons there, which vents are blowing. And then above the climate deck, you have your radio deck, which is just volume, mode, band, CD player, and to switch channels. And then you have these touch capacitive buttons here, which a lot of people think are radio favorite stations, but in BMWs you can program them to be shortcuts to different menus as well. There's actually a lot you can do with that if you know how to set it up. You can set these up to, you know, pull up like your service history menu or your navigation, or pick different bands with it. There's a lot of stuff that can do. Above that, you have these touch capacitive hot and cold for these top vents here. Now, a lot of people usually don't understand what those do either, and what those do is they blow hot or cold air out the top vents without affecting the bottom vents. So if your feet are cold, but you know your upper body's hot, you can turn these to cool, and you can still have heat blowing on your feet without hot air blowing on your face, and vice versa, the other way around. Which I think is a cool feature that they have been doing for a while. It's been on a few different cars, not with the touch capacitive buttons. This is the first chassis to actually have the touch buttons up here and this digital hybrid display down here. Going over the iDrive system, this is iDrive 7, which is better than the current generation of iDrive 8. This is just a completely better user-friendly system. I really enjoy this iDrive setup. And then we are going to be using the iDrive control wheel here to go through the menus. You simply have a rotary dial, and it can move forward, backwards, side to side, and down. Which is pretty nice. Comes in handy once you get used to it. It's really easy to work while you're driving, especially. So the first thing we have is a couple menus here. You have your media menu, which is going to have all your bandwidths, your phone, all that good stuff in there. You have your Bowers & Wilkins settings, which is your equalizer, treble, or bass. You have a lot of settings because of that Bowers & Wilkins option. Tone profiles, which this is specific to Bowers & Wilkins. Communication, which is where all your phone information would be. You have your navigation map. Connected Drive is a BMW app store that is $128 a year, and it gives you weather, updated traffic if you use the in-car GPS, gives you the phone app and access to unlocking and locking the vehicle through the app, as well as a handful of other features like scheduling services through the iDrive with your dealer and stuff like that. It's really convenient, really nice app to have. Next we have My Vehicle, which is where all your service information and settings will be. You have your vehicle settings, so if you wanted to change the ambient lighting, for example, we could go into here, go down here, and we can make it a plethora of these colors that they have to offer. As well as service status, which gives you your tire pressure monitor right there, and then you can go check your engine oil level. You can check your service history. As you can see, we have done our maintenance on this vehicle, so everything's up to date there. And the notifications if there's anything going on. So obviously we have the time change, so it's telling me the time's wrong, and then the door open because I have the driver's door open. But if you have any like other warning messages, like you're ready for an oil change or you're low on fuel, all your messages that the car's trying to tell you will pop up there. And I mean, that's pretty much it for the iDrive, other than a few other things like the cameras. Let me shut this door here. So you have full 360 cameras all the way around in this car. Neat thing about BMWs is it can generate the car, and you can do a full 360 walk around with these. Super nice to have. Super convenient. I really like this feature, and if you're in auto mode with that, which will allow you to, the car will decide for you. It's right there what it wants you to do. So if I put it in drive, for example, it'll rotate to the front. If I turn the wheel, the whole camera will follow. Really nice, really convenient to have. And that's about it for the iDrives. Now down here is just a few other buttons I would like to go over. First, it's your PDC, your park distance. So when you're getting close to objects, it'll beep at you. Then you have your camera button, which I just press to get to the iDrive 360 camera view. And then this is your air ride, which the air ride allows you to lift the car up if you're going over a steep incline or something where you're afraid of scraping the front end of the car. You can lift it up real quick and drive over it. In the back of the 2018 Alpina B7, it's very spacious back here. I am 6'1", and I fit behind myself very comfortably here. My knees, I have, a massive amount of gap here between my legs, as well as a nice TV in front of me, a little infotainment screen, which just has all the iDrive controls on there that you can select from, which is pretty nice. Comes in handy. There's also a tablet, which is not currently in the vehicle right now. We usually keep that stuff away for security reasons. As well as on the door here, you have your power up window switch, your ashtray, and then these buttons here control the rear privacy shade behind us here. As you can see, it's going up, and when I press it again, it goes down. As well as the one for both windows. I know it's a little dark, but that's unfortunately what these are very good at doing. blocking out the light. Then you have this button right here, which opens and closes the sunroof right above us here. There's 2 sunroofs or moon roofs, however you want to call it. The front one opens and closes and tilts. This one stays shut. As you notice, it's got a purple hue to it. That's because that's what the ambient lighting is set to. This is the panoramic LED sky lounge, so you can see these little dots are etched in there, and they have LED lights that are along the sides that project the light out, which give it a really cool effect at night. It really lights up the whole cabin, and it's also adjustable just like the ambient lighting. It's all under the same control, so whatever you set the door trim to is what that'll end up being. Just a nice little touch. On the side here, you have your power adjustable rear seats, so you can move them forward, backwards, recline them a bit, adjust the headrest, set it straight up if you really want, and your lumbar right there. You also have your cup holders for the rear. That's where your tablet sits, and then you just hit this eject button and it would come right out. Close that back up. You have your climate control back here. You have heated and ventilated once again back here. These knobs you can adjust where it comes out. You have your positions and your AC on that side. You have your mirrors up here on both sides. And while we're talking about the headliner, this headliner is a suede headliner. It's not a normal just cloth headliner. Again, it's an Alpina, so you get these nice special touches with these cars. Along with these side marker lights here, which are just a touch capacitive button. Probably gotta turn one from the front. There we go. So they're just to give off a nice warm hue light, and they also are branded B7 on them. Along with a couple other neat features are the piano gloss trim is also on the grab handles as well. It's just a nice classy touch to it. And the seat material, which I'm sure you've noticed by now, is stitched in like a X pattern style stitching here. These are full merino leather seats. They're super comfy. It's a super soft plush leather, as well as the door cards. The door cards are full leather all the way across the top here and as well as here. The complete dash is also leather as well. I forgot to mention that when I was up there. I mean, every surface in this thing is pretty much leather. It's got the extended leather package, which gives you the leather on the dash and the door cards and everything like that. If you're ever optioning one out, if you ever pick the extended dash, it gives you the door cards as well. So if you have a Sensitech dash, which is the fake leather, it gives you the Sensitech door cards. If you get the normal hard plastic, which wouldn't be found on a 7 Series, let alone an Alpina, that'll give you the hard plastic doors and so on and so forth. So the doors are included with the dash. And that concludes the walk around of the 2018 Alpina B7. If you have any questions about the vehicle, please let us know. You can reach us at any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as well as call in or email us, and check out our website at perfectautocollection.com. Thanks.